So what we're going to work on today is exercise 24 in Troy Stetina's Mellow Rhythm Guitar Volume 1. And we're going to take a look at eighth notes. So let's go ahead and jump into it and get started. Okay, so up to now we've been doing quarter notes, half notes, and whole notes. So with quarter notes, we're tapping our foot when hitting. Every time our foot hits the ground, we're going to be hitting a note. And of course, whole notes, you hit one for every 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then half notes is every other beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hitting on beats 1 and 3. Eighth notes, those are actually twice as fast as quarter notes. Again, quarter notes are 1, 2, 3, 4. With eighth notes, what we're going to do is we're going to actually hit it on the way up too. So here's quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Eighth notes are 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're hitting the note when our foot hits the ground, but we're also hitting the note when our foot comes up. And when our foot hits the ground, that's the numbers. When our foot comes up, it's the ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It'd be good to practice some quarter notes and then eighth notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it's good to start practicing that. Just get used to what how eighth notes are played, and yeah, this allows you to play twice as fast as quarter notes. And when we're playing quarter notes, of course, we're playing the downstroke. We're still coming up, but we're just not hitting the strings. But again, eighth notes, we are going to hit it on the way up. So that's the way you want to start it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, where your pick goes down, your foot is down, your foot comes up, your pick comes up. So you think of the string connected from your foot to your pick. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. However, in hard rock and metal, a lot of times we do all downstrokes, which is the case in this particular riff here. And this little progression. So that's a little harder because now you got to hit on the downstroke, but then when you kind of upstroke, you got to hit it up too. So that can be a little bit tricky because what the heck, my foot's coming up, but I'm picking down. And it's important to be able to do both because this is going to be, especially when you get in the lead guitar, you're going to have to do alternate picking a lot. But again, with the rhythms, a lot of times you're doing downstrokes, whether it's with eighth notes or 16th notes, it's just all downstrokes. So what you need to do is practice that also. So do some where you're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, but now you're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Just go nice and slow. Just get used to that. Pick's always down, but your foot is going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So that might be easy for you, or it might be a struggle. It might just throw you off because you're moving in opposite directions. Pick down and your foot's coming up. That could be a little trickier for you. But in this progression, it's important because otherwise it just doesn't sound. It may not sound a huge difference, but it's a little more forceful when you're doing downstrokes. So there you go. So that's what we want to do with our picking direction. So what we're going to do here is going to take our E5 power chord, and you're just going to do a whole measure of these 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then what we're going to do in the second measure goes to A5, and you're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and then you're going to start on 4. So measure 2, the very last chord in there is actually a quarter note. So we got eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and, but that beat 4 is a quarter note. So you're only going to hit it on the downstroke, and then you hold it all the way till we go to the next chord in the next measure. So it's first measure's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, see how my foot's going? Then we go bring this down to A5, and now this is going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So you can practice those separately, do them over and over again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4, and so on. And then you want to practice these two together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Yeah, and you can play that over and over again, put on a drum beat, metronome, get that nice and tight. And then the next thing you can do is, actually before we jump over there, a good thing to get used to, we've talked about this before, is when you're playing and 3 and 4 and going to A5, see my thumb, it's kind of curving over. So if I hit that low E string by accident, it's muted out. If you can do that, definitely try to do that. If you're really struggling with it, don't worry about it as much. Just be really accurate with your right hand. But the nice thing about this is you bring your thumb up and you're able to do that. It doesn't matter that this finger is leaning over and touching the other strings, because that's good, because it's muting down the strings that are located below that. So ideally 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. See how my thumb is reaching over? Just lightly touching that low E string. So, yep, there's that part. So, now after that, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now you go back and do it again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... But now, we're going to stay right on this string right here. And what we're going to do is jump over. We're going to bring our finger over one fret and play an actual fretted power chord. Play that. And we're going to play 1 and 2 and then you're going to jump up to the 5th fret. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So that part is going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... It's really that simple. It makes it a little easier because your finger's already on this string. You just move it up. Now, again, I'm going to show you another technique for muting strings. When I'm going up, I'm going over here. Notice that string stops. That's because when I'm playing this, I'm actually, instead of my finger being right here, I'm bringing it a little bit up so it just touches that string. So if I hit it by accident, you're not going to hear it. 1 and 2 and then when I move up, I do the same. Just barely touching it. Just very lightly. It's just touching it. So 1 and 2. And you don't have to bring your thumb around here because we want the E string to ring. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So you notice that ring finger is the middle finger. The index finger is not right here. It's kind of, I'm actually, instead of curved, I'm kind of laying it a little flat like that. and it's just slightly touching that string. And you still want to try and be really accurate with your right hand, so you don't hit the E string. Don't be lazy, but you know, just in case if I hit the E string by accident, I'm hitting the E string, not hitting the E string. Yeah, I muted out that string, so it sounds good. And really, so that's it. Those are the two parts. Put them together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Start again. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's what those little dots on the end, the beginning and the end of those measures, you know, the 4 measures, that's called a repeat. So you do it 2 times, and then after the second time you move over where you have a skinny line and then a fat line, and then you see an E5 in 2 measures, but they got a tie, and we talked about a tie before. So that means you play the first one, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you don't play it again. You just let it ring out for the second measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's all you do at the end. So you do that first part 2 times, and then you end off with that E. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there you go. There's exercise 24 from Troy's Metal Rhythm Guitar book. And we covered 8th notes, how to play 8th notes. Now, this might be brand new to you, or you may already be familiar with how to play 8th notes. If this progression is relatively easy for you, then go ahead and just focus a lot on the string muting technique. And it's a lot easier to work on that stuff when you're playing something a little bit easier. Then you don't have a real lot to focus on. You can really focus on that, again, in this case, a string muting technique. If you go and you try to work on it on something a little bit more difficult, then it's going to be a lot harder, because if it's difficult for you, you're probably working on other techniques, and there's a lot to focus on at that time, and now you're loading something else on it. So if this is easy for you, then go ahead and really pour some time into that string muting technique. If it's hard for you, then don't worry about the string muting technique so much right now. You can really focus mainly on the rhythm. Basically, well, 2 things. You want to focus on the rhythm, and then also be able to switch between the chords smoothly. You know, like, and by the way, you can break things up. So if you have a problem, like when you're moving from the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and you can go practice just simply going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and practice there, or even just going E straight to. This is a C5 chord, by the way, C5 power chord. But you can practice that section right there. You can also, if you can't get that smooth, practice that. Whenever you're working on something, always go ahead and start breaking things up and turn them into exercise. You have exercises. If you have a problem area, you want to create some exercises out of them. You don't have to always play everything, you know, exactly like it is, you know, on the recording. You just take a problem area, create an exercise that you can repeat over and over and over again. And it's going to help you get that part down. And then when you're pretty good at that, then you can apply that to the actual song, play it like the song is played. So that, and then rhythms. Do like we were talking about before. You know, you don't see my foot, but my foot is in sync with my head. You know, you can do some where you're taking the string, go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then make some quarter notes too. 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, in this case, we're doing all downstrokes, so that one might be a little bit more challenging for you. So go ahead and take the low E string and try that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. All downstrokes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. By the way, you can take a, if you don't want to just do one string, you can do power chords. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. And that one again is a little bit more difficult because you're playing downstroke when your foot comes down, but then you're playing a downstroke when your foot comes up too. So so yeah, really pour some work into that because you really want to get tight and you want to get in the habit of being able to tap your foot, because if you're tapping your foot, you know, moving your body, then you're really feeling the beat and you're sinking in and locking into the beat. And then if you make a mistake, you can keep that beat going and then come back in at the right time and in time. Otherwise, if you're not keeping the beat and you lose, you know, your place or make a mistake, you got nothing to grab onto and you're fumbling trying to get back into time with the song. So that's why it's really important to kind of keep a beat, whether it's tapping your foot, moving your body, both of it. You want to really do something to keep that beat, so you lock into it, and when there's hard parts or you make mistakes, you have something to grab onto. So there you go. That's it. That's the exercise 24. Work on that. If you have any problems or anything, let me know. And otherwise, we'll get into some more stuff in the next exercises. All right, have a good one.